Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TC Plus Show. Today we've got on a very special guest, but before we get into him and reveal him, we have a little bit of sad news, isn't that right, Corey?
Yeah.
A little bit of sad news.
Yeah.
He's not sad, actually. Never mind.
Sad's a good way. Sure.
So this is going to be our second last episode. We have one more left. That'll just be me and Corey chatting it up for one last time.
Getting everything off of our chest.
Yes, everything that we've needed to say. Corey's decided to move on from the podcast. He will be breaking up with me, and that's just the way of it, you know? Life moves on.
Breakups are sad.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But, you know, I see, you know, normally people are like, oh, yeah, it was mutual. This one wasn't mutual. You know, I'm not afraid to say it.
All right.
No, I'm kidding.
I told you
we're all good with it. We're all good with it. Don't worry. I just thought I'd call you out. So, anyway, today we have Kyle on the podcast. Welcome, Kyle. Welcome in.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
Kyle.
Famous.
Don't leave me hanging.
Famous brother-in-law, Kyle. He's actually, that's not why we have him on. He's Corey. How do you know Kyle?
I think it was mostly in high school we first started really connecting.
Nice.
We'd go over to No Frills and get that, I don't know, what was it, 25 cent can of pop or 10 or what was
99 cent Arizona or what?
No, it was like the vending machine.
Oh.
Remember at No Frills? Anyways.
Yeah, okay.
But we also bought some other things too.
Yeah. You bonded over getting cans of pop with each other?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Just like any good bros do. Okay.
Yeah. And eventually that just kept kind of growing and
went for
driving
in your
together.
Mustang, and before I had my license, you got yours. And,
nice.
And all of a sudden, married my cousin. So
what do you know?
Still hanging around.
Just to make sure y'all do know, he is my brother-in-law. That's why I said that earlier. Anyway.
And also, your only brother-in-law.
My only brother-in-law. The only brother-in-law I will ever probably have, barring some very unforeseen circumstance.
Well, no.
it would be unforeseen.
That's assuming that you're not ever getting married.
Right. No, sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. No, I wasn't even thinking of that. The phone. Okay.
You kind of got to leave that in, Tyler.
Okay, whatever.
That's a good one.
Okay, my bad.
But for now, you can say he's your favorite brother-in-law.
He is my favorite brother-in-law. And
yes.
I really don't have any other in-laws at all. So, yeah. Anyway,
he's your most favorite in-law in all aspects. Yeah.
This is chalked. Okay. We're going to go quickly into 3 quick questions, move on from that. And my first question is, before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you're going to say? Or do you just, go in there with absolute confidence that you know what's going to go on?
Really depends on the phone call. If it's something that's pretty important or, businessy, then, or in French in my case.
Yeah.
I definitely rehearse in my head what the plan is that I'm going to say.
Makes sense, yeah. I guess we should also mention, you currently live in Quebec. Quebec. How do you say it? How do you properly say that?
Quebec.
Quebec
City.
Quebec.
It's a beautiful city.
It is. Big fan of Quebec.
But the real people don't say city, is that right?
That's right. It's just Quebec, and you differentiate the province from the city by just I don't know the official language terms, but à Quebec is the city and au Quebec is the province. So
Interesting.
No.
What do you got for him, Corey?
Well, in case no one noticed, this is our festive. We all have red hats today.
We're recording this
everybody.
Friday after Christmas. So.
Yeah. Can you, this isn't my question, but Kyle, can you tell everyone Merry Christmas in French?
Joyeux Noël.
Ooh.
Joyeux fête is more commonly used. So just come with the happy holidays.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Did you say Noel?
Noel.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The word lives on for both languages.
Noel.
Yeah.
Where is the word? Do you know what Feliz Navidad? What language is that?
It's Spanish.
Spanish, right?
Spanish.
I think it's Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So my question. You're a van driver.
Yes.
What is the most... Money's not a problem. Ballin' minivan that you could buy.
Every episode, Corey needs to bring up cars.
Hey, I mean, I may be a little biased, but if you're already getting a minivan, then you're probably fairly practically minded.
No, but you're not anymore.
Okay, but I'm saying they're limited for options.
Yes,
but right. I'm gonna say either the Toyota Sienna or the Honda Odyssey is probably
You're a simple man.
Probably one of my.
Like, can you get any fancy vans that have like, I don't know. Yeah,
Can you get like a Rolls Royce minivan?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
No, I was thinking more like imagine like good. Do you ever see the Sprinter vans that are like, I don't know, 100,000+?
Right.
Can you get like a
converted into
minivan like that?
camper vans right from the factory, kind of that.
Or like they're kind of like a limo. They're set up like a limo.
Right. I mean, I'm sure you can custom order some things, but I've never.
Yeah.
I don't know what's available.
What's like a top end Chrysler like?
Yeah, I guess they've come a long ways too. More recently, they do make a pretty luxurious minivan as well. So, but as
Cool.
far as like reliability, I'm still leaning more towards.
Yeah. Is
Japanese.
there any vans with a built-in vacuum cleaner?
Oh yeah, multiple.
Dude, that's
I think
sick.
probably all the top end models probably have one.
Built-in
And
vacuum?
in the leading brands. So,
Dang.
yeah, pretty
Interesting.
Wow.
If you got
Yeah,
kids,
okay.
then,
Cool.
All right, my last question for you for the entire episode. Just kidding. Last little tidbit is: do you sing in the shower?
No, like probably hum or something,
Okay.
but not outright sing. I'm just not a real
Are you part of like?
musical guy, so
Do you like listen to stuff while you're in the shower at all, or are you just in there with your thoughts?
that probably best describes it. In there with my
fair
thoughts.
enough. All right, that's
So-
all right.
Should we put bets on whether Tyler's a sing in the shower kind of guy?
I mean, I think it's a pretty safe bet. What?
I think it's a yes.
Yeah, I would say I would be putting money
Yeah,
on yes.
yeah.
He's like he's
I mean,
hollering like.
If I'm alone, yeah. If there's other people, like if parents are around, I don't normally go too crazy. But like if I'm alone, dude, and I know I'm alone,
Do you actually think of that though? Like when
today.
you're actually in the shower with the hot water coming down.
Yeah,
like,
no, I do
You
think
feel
of it.
alone regardless of whether you're alone in the house or not.
No,
so-
I feel everyone in the house.
Okay.
I feel it all. Anyway, all right, let's go to the.
That's the difference between owning, or like being on your own, and being in your own house versus living with your parents. Still, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the difference. Yeah, you guys are too far removed for living with your parents. You guys don't even
Yeah.
know what it's like anymore.
Yeah.
Forget what that's like.
Yeah. All right. Tell me when to stop, Kyle. I don't know if you know how this works, but it's too late to explain it now. So,
Stop.
cheers. Are you more of a homebody person or a person about town? That's a weird way of saying it, but
About town?
that's the way they said it. Yeah.
You're more
okay.
likely to go out on the
Like,
town
yeah,
or
yeah.
hang around at home. I don't know.
And you can once again skip questions, but you
Oh,
know.
I'll answer that one.
Okay, cheers.
I would say before I married your sister, I was maybe felt a little more of a homebody, but your sister is really social, and so that kind of over the years kind of changed me. And
Yeah.
sometimes I don't have a choice, so
Yeah.
you know,
So like, if
Probably
it was
get
up
out-
to
get
you,
out a little more.
If it was up to you, you'd stay around more, but you're not afraid to get out and about.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Do you guys want to do food for thought now or later?
Whatever you want, Tyler.
I'm just gonna do it now. So Corey
The
invited
boss.
us over for some pancakes.
They were
It was
delicious.
good little pancakes. Just
Yeah.
finished up a little bit ago, and I got me just thinking. Pancakes, French toast, or waffles. What's your favorite? Corey, start us off.
Well, just in case anyone noticed, I brought my eggs and bacon socks out that I got for Christmas.
Dang,
Because this is our first episode that we've ever recorded in the morning and not at night.
It is. That it
Yes.
is.
So, breakfast socks.
Nice.
I'm a pancake guy, man. I love waffles. I'd say they take a very close second.
Right.
But I like pancakes because you don't need like an extra machine to make the thing.
Right.
Like you need you need a waffle maker to make waffles. And it feels like they kind of make a mess. But I really like waffles
But like, let me just push
And
back.
then
a
one
little.
more thing.
Okay.
If I'm at like a hotel and they get a hotel breakfast, I would take hotel waffles over hotel pancakes any day.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Technically doesn't need an extra machine though, because if you have a waffle maker, you don't need an oven or a stove, whatever.
Yeah, but you're not
Or pancakes.
cooking chili in
but
your
no
waffle
matter what,
maker.
you have a stove. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. But like anyways.
Yeah,
If you're in
yeah.
a dorm room, you could make waffles and not pancakes,
Yeah.
probably.
And you could make your waffle like a panini press
Right.
You could.
if you're
Anyway.
dedicated enough to that waffle life.
It's hardcore waffling. How about you, Kyle?
Probably gonna say waffle because you get kind of that combination of the more crispiness on the outside than the other options, and that's soft on the inside. And they might make a little more mess. Maybe needs another machine, but you put it in there, close the lid, forget about it. You can go to other things until the beeper goes and come back and it's ready to go.
Yeah. Can I do
Don't
one more
really need
thing
to
I don't
babysit them.
Yeah.
like about waffles?
Sure.
They're so difficult to butter.
But it's
but-
my goodness, bro. You're really nitpicking at
but then
this.
it's
Yeah,
good.
but like
It's
it is one of those things that you
just-
think about when you're trying to get that butter
Yeah.
on. It leaves a big hunk in every hole. And
Oh,
you're
but
like, well, I
that's
don't want that
delicious.
much butter, but I
Little-
want some.
The little puddles of butter everywhere.
Oh,
You just
yeah.
gotta put more butter on.
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
Just
you
more
don't have to-
butter,
You don't have to
eh?
worry about
Alright.
saving butter.
Waffles are my jam
Put it
too.
on, you know.
We have no French toast takers here. I'm going waffles as well. I mean,
Would you eat French toast though?
oh, I love French toast. Oh, I love them all. Love them all. Just something about waffles, man. I tell you. I tell you.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so the reason we have Kyle on, as is probably in the title, you're a professional barber, isn't that right? Can I call you a professional barber?
I mean, you can.
Yeah, you
That's
can.
what I do for a living.
It's your profession.
Yeah.
So that sounds great. So we're gonna do a little interview today, as Corey has started doing over the last bunch of episodes. He likes to interview people, so I thought I'd catch on with that. So to start us off here, what does your normal day routine look like? You can go as in depth or not in depth as you want, I guess.
Yeah, so barber schedule is maybe a little different than some of the previous jobs I worked in the fact that my schedule's kind of starts a little later in the day. So my general work schedule is from 10 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So, slower mornings. Can have an easy morning, drink coffee, eat breakfast with my family, and relax before heading off to work, which is, it took me a bit to get used to at first, but I do like it now. And then that shortens my evenings, though, at the other end of my day. So, like, supper time as a family isn't necessarily as traditional as maybe some people have it. Sometimes my wife and daughter eat before I get home from work, or, sometimes they'll wait for me. But that also, like I said, that's my normal schedule. Thursdays and Fridays I work till 8 in the evening typically, and Saturdays is another different schedule again. Start a bit earlier, quit a bit earlier.
So, you got a question?
I was just gonna say, so back in the day, you used to wake up at probably like 5:30 to go do your other jobs. You know, so this is a little bit of a switch from that 5:30 start to 10 o'clock. Not 5:30 start, 5:30 wake up to anyway.
Yeah.
What were you gonna
So,
say?
kind of along that line is like I've never had a schedule like that, and I've always wondered about it because I think, but I don't know. Is it more like evenings is my time to get stuff done around home? And like if I wake up in the morning, if I think about like a Saturday morning, I kind of struggle to get stuff done in the morning. Is that like something that you have to deal with, or does it kind of eventually come naturally that you wake up and you get stuff done and then you go to work? Or
It is a struggle,
Yeah.
especially at first, because you have in the back of my mind that you have to leave again. So like if you have a project or something, you get all your tools on, you still you have to get cleaned up and gone by a certain time, so you can't just relax and settle into the task that you want to get done. So yeah, that is a challenge for sure. You have to, if you have to get something done, you gotta get your butt out of bed early and tackle it. Or also what I've found I'm doing more is I tend to maybe stay up a bit later at night and then adjust my sleeping schedule a little bit too.
Right. So then your work is still.
I still do
You
work
just
in the
wake up
evenings,
later.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because then it kind of feels like an open-ended time because I just I'll get that task done before going to bed, whatever it takes.
Yep.
So.
All right, what is your favorite thing about being a barber?
My favorite thing, I think the most satisfying thing is watching and being able to make people confident in themselves again. Like the feeling of a fresh cut, and they come in and they're pretty overgrown, and you give them a fresh haircut. They walk out, their shoulders and their back and their heads held high. They're just they walk out that door just ready to conquer the world again, and I get to see that many times in a day, and I get huge satisfaction in being able to boost other people's confidence. So I would say that's my favorite aspect of the job.
That's a good answer, because this made me think of like Instagram reels where I get barbering reels every now and then, and it's like it's this dude comes in, he just hasn't had a haircut in like 2 years, something like that, and the barber's like, okay, so what do you want? He's like, I think we could do this, He's then he like fixes him up. It's either you saved bro, you saved him, or then other times it's like you killed him, bro. It's like it just ruined him. But anyway, that's. I hope you're not doing the ruining. I'm kidding. There's some awful cuts on Instagram.
A good consultation is important.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is. Some guys just like making everyone get perms, even though they shouldn't get a perm.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. Anyway, what is your least favorite thing about being a barber?
Probably the most annoying thing is having no-shows. So in the shop I work at, we have, you can, it's mostly by appointment, but we do accept walk-ins. It's not guaranteed a place, just like any walk-in place. So people who make appointments online or whatever, they call in, make an appointment, and they just don't show up. Their time slot comes and they're not there. You try calling them, they don't answer. Send a text message, no response. Just completely ignore everything. So I'd say that is the most frustrating thing, because they were making that space unavailable, or that time slot unavailable for anybody else to book.
Yeah.
Right up until that time came and went, and so now I'm sitting there with nothing to do, and I only get paid if I'm working, and I don't get paid hourly wage.
Yeah.
So that is the worst thing about being a barber, and just I guess how some people they don't understand it. So I have a little bit of grace for that. But
yeah.
That is the reality, is that you're costing your barber a lot of money if you don't show up.
So is there ways of like when you book online that you can make people pay, right? Or your shop probably isn't set up like that, but I think I've seen some that are.
Yeah, it is a debate, because not a lot of people want to prepay for a service like that, especially for the first time. So if it's a repeat client and they have their barber, they trust their barber, I'm sure they wouldn't mind putting in their credit card information. But even for myself, like if I'm going to a new barber shop, I don't want to prepay for a service that haven't received yet, because what if it's a bad cut and they just still charge you regardless?
The people that don't show up, are they like a lot of like they ghost you like 100%, or they like suddenly call back and like, hey, can I get an appointment for this day now?
It's happened many times where they completely ghost you.
Yeah.
And that's really frustrating to me.
But then it's like, they know that what they did wasn't right.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah. So they're embarrassed, and things happen, like you forget, whatever. But just reply. I normally call a couple times first, and then I send a text message, and depending how frustrated I am or whatever, then I might explain to them, like, just very briefly, like, like, hey, this is the reality. Like, please just, let me know, even if it's the day of, that you can't cancel. That way I can accept the walk-in that's maybe, like I've had it one time where there was a walk-in that came in like 5 minutes before the appointment was supposed to start, and I was like, I've got an appointment in 5 minutes. I'm really sorry. Can you wait? And they couldn't, so they left, and then
that guy didn't show up.
The guy that I had the appointment, he didn't show up. So that's
brutal. That's brutal.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
But
okay, that sucks. What is your favorite haircut to give? Do you have a favorite? Maybe.
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of efficiency or satisfaction, or maybe I'll give you an example of both.
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction.
The mullet.
Yeah. The afro.
Those can be fun, because I mean, there's, they're actually easier. They take a little less time than some other cuts. But again, that's more in terms of efficiency.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I was gonna say number 2 on the sides, scissored off the top. That's pretty efficient
Yeah.
right there.
Nice and easy.
Give you a neck shave for increased value for sure.
Yeah.
No, most satisfaction probably a nice clean taper. That would be with scissored off the top, little longer texture top. That's pretty satisfying.
Corey, what kind of haircut do you get exactly?
I don't know.
Okay.
And I guess
I comb over.
You get to go over.
Kyle might be able to tell you what it is.
Hey,
Here's what I tell the barber.
Yeah.
I like do about 3 to 2 on the side there,
Okay, you leave it nice and long.
and then just like trim a bit off the top, and then I'd like to have like a defined part, but not etched in or cut in.
Yeah.
That's all I know how to tell them. So, yeah.
No, it's an excellent classic style cut that will never
There you go.
never go out of style. Never.
Corey, you're just always gonna be in style, brother. Man,
Yeah.
got that classic look.
Hey, I'm not promised this hair all my life.
Yeah.
You're gonna switch it up.
I don't know if I finished that question.
Right, sorry. Right.
But yeah, the difference between a taper and a fade. So a fade is kind of like faded to zero, I guess, all the way around the head, whereas a taper is more just on the sides and at the back, but like there's a little bit of a defining line behind the ear, so you gotta connect all that. But then it's just, in my opinion, it's a little more of a clean and modern version of a complete like skin fade. So
That's what you gave me this just
yeah.
a couple days ago
Yeah,
on Christmas. A little Christmas cut from Kyle. It was nice. He brought out the mobile shop in our kitchen, so that was cool.
Well, there's probably like very few people that get a haircut on Christmas, so count yourself blessed.
I am blessed. Yeah. Corey, did you want a haircut today? I can't book it. Yeah, I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
It's good.
I
I got one maybe a week before Christmas.
Oh, nice.
So,
Okay, you're cooking.
yeah.
All right. How often should you get a haircut? Which that's a bit of a difficult. Well, that's a question that is probably different for different people. But
definitely. You see all kinds of different time lengths. Like personally, I don't have any clients that get a cut every week, but I know a couple of the barbers in the shop, they do have some clients that get a cut every single week.
and those are people that are getting like shortcuts. Or
Yeah,
what.
certainly. Those are generally, high skin fades, and they just hate hair on the sides of their head for, they like to,
Keep a clean look.
Yeah, if you budget for that and it's important to you, then go for it. But most people, I would say, generally wait probably 4 weeks, but then, then you get everything in between and even longer. So, but like, if you care about any like being consistent in life, probably every 4 weeks is probably. I think you're gonna change your looks a little bit, but it's nothing too extreme. So if you wait like 4 months and then you're completely overgrown and then you get a completely transformative cut again, and it's like, oh, I guess everybody notices your haircut then. But
if you want people to really take notice of your cuts, that's how you do it, I guess.
yeah.
What's the best way to describe the cut you want? Because I feel like there are times where the customer and the barber can have a little bit of a different idea. How do we make ourselves clear?
Yeah, having a good consultation period is important, and I've learned, thankfully not the hard way. I've learned from other people's experiences. You just never assume that you're on the same page or you're picturing the same thing as the client. So the easiest thing I would say is find a picture of a haircut you like and show it to your barber. And this is maybe talking in the context of you're going to a new barber for the first time.
Yeah.
And you've never met before. He has no idea what you want exactly. And by describing something, like as Corey described, like 2 to 3 on the sides, a little longer on top, different barbers are going to have different styles of like, how much volume they leave still on the sides. And it's just, they might do other little details different. And So either take a picture of yourself with a cut that you know you like, if you just had a really sweet haircut and you're like, this is what I want, like every time.
Yeah.
Take a picture, take like a little video, like 360 panoramic of
Every
your head.
time I do something like that, I feel kind of corny, but
No,
like
honestly,
it's good. It's
like,
good.
As a barber, like, I love when people do that because
Yeah.
it makes it so easy for me, especially if it's their own head and their own hair texture, their own hair type. It's like, yeah, that's what you want. I can recreate that for sure for you. Or online. Google it if you're wanting a certain style of some sort. Try to maybe find a picture that maybe has a similar hair type as you. Like if, I mean, online you get pictures, people showing you pictures of, Brad Pitt, Paul
Rudd,
Jake Paul.
Yeah.
I want to cut like that, and that's fine. But then they have completely different hair texture or lengths, or it's way too short. It's not nearly long enough yet for a cut like that. So you can't. So you got to explain that to them, and it's like, what do you like about the cut? And then maybe you can find a hybrid of a few pictures, like with this detail here on the sides, and then but a little more like this on top, and then you can combine that. So pictures are worth 1,000 words, and it's the same for
hair cutting.
Same for hair cutting. So
something I've found that like some barbers do, and I find really helpful, is like when they like, I try to explain it in my terms, and then they like explain it in their terms, and then like, okay, I remember that for like next time.
Yeah.
And I think it seems almost kind of intentional. Like, okay, so we're gonna do like so and so and so and so, and then maybe kind of ask. And then, like, that's where I learned, like, what I told you is by my barber telling me that these are the things that he's doing. Because I didn't know what I wanted exactly.
Yeah.
Until finally I kind of heard what different people were telling me. And I'm like, okay, that's what I want. And, or asking different questions. And you get the wrong thing the odd time. And they're like, okay, that's not what I wanted. And then you're like, okay, that reminds me to say this or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a barber you've been going to for years, Corey?
A couple.
A couple. You got a couple different barbers.
No, a couple years.
Oh, a couple years.
Maybe.
Sorry, yeah.
So, like, my all-time favorite moved away.
Yeah.
And then he moved. Like, it was during COVID, he moved out to Banff.
Okay.
And then a while later, he moved to Toronto. And I thought I should go visit him once. But now it's been, like, awkwardly long that it'd be weird to go visit him almost, I think.
Man. You'd appreciate some money once again.
Anyway, so I've found someone now, and I also find like the longer you roll with them, the like more they start finding your vibe.
Oh, absolutely.
And like what you're doing, and so then it's somewhat about picking the person you like, but also about like putting your time in with them to be able to. Eventually, they'll start knowing. Okay, this is more what he's going for. And my problem is I come in after work and my hair is not the same after work because I wear like a headset for like talking on the phone and stuff, so that messes it up. And so there's times they get very different view of what, like they look at my hair and think, okay, this is what he wants. And like, no, like this is me coming after my day of work, and that's not how my hair is supposed to look when it's supposed to be pristine. So like some of that really messes up some things. But the longer I've been with this person, the better it's got.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is like I've liked having men cut my hair better than women. I've had higher success rate with that for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
But my current barber is a woman.
Okay.
And she does a very good job.
Nice.
So I used to say before that, like, I wouldn't get a woman to cut my hair, but I seen her work and she had availability one time when no one else did. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get her to cut my hair. And it turned out really good. And so I just kept going with her.
Yeah.
Because she had better availability than my previous guy, and I wasn't totally locked in with him yet.
Yeah, you weren't feeling it.
And so, like, I like availability. That's something that's important to me.
Yeah.
If I have to book 2 weeks out, like, that's...
It's pushing it. It's pushing it for me too. But like at the same time, it's almost a good sign if they're booked because it means they're.
It is.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. But try to find the guy that's coming up. You know.
Yeah. On the up and coming. Yeah.
That can be tricky to.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might have like 2 years before they're.
Yeah. Exactly.
Their established clientele.
I don't mind them. Like a week or week and a half, whatever. But it's like once it starts pushing past that 2 weeks, so I'm like, it's just a long time to wait. Because it's often I think, okay, I need a haircut now. And then like 2 weeks, it's finally like, man, I really need a haircut.
Yeah. Next question. How do we as the people be good customers for you? What's something that you see some of your customers do, you're like, wow, that guy's a stiff neck. He refuses to rotate his head for me. Or something like that. Like,
I find myself fighting against the barber so often.
Push your head forward and they're just resisting.
I do not want to put my neck forward.
I don't know why I do it, but I do it.
Kids
Yeah,
Like,
actually, you do?
like they'll like be pushing it sideways, and I'm like, no, I'm holding it straight. And then, like I'm not really paying attention. And then she's like, hey, can you tilt your head sideways a bit? Like, oh yeah, I apologize.
You don't like outside forces coming in.
I don't know. You're just trying to keep your head level, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Trying to keep a level head, you know?
You're like a chicken.
But yeah, showing up is priority
That's a
number
good
one.
start. That's a good
Bar's
start.
low, fellas.
Yeah.
I know,
Show
right?
up.
I mean, I had one no-shows and one Saturday one time. I was that really kind of
How many no-shows did you say?
four no-shows in one day, and that was the worst day. For that for sure. Anyways, so show up. Try to be on time too, especially if you have an appointment. Be there. Try to be there 5 minutes before, just because or even 10 minutes if you can. Just because if the guy before you, if he finishes up a bit early, the barber can continue to. He can maybe take you in his chair sooner and just be more relaxed with you because he doesn't feel pressure for time. If you show up late, the barber's already going to be thinking about the appointment after you, so then he's going to feel a little more rushed in your cut. So if you want the optimal experience, be there on time or a bit earlier. And
So for my barber, I know I never get in when I'm booked.
okay, like how late?
Like it's maybe 5-10 minutes later.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
And so then, like, I used to show 5-10 minutes early, but now I'm just like, I'm just gonna show up right on time.
Yeah, and that's fair, on time.
So
is
I
good.
don't have. So I feel like I'm doing my job, but I'm not wasting a lot of time waiting on them either.
That's fair.
But
Yeah, no, that's fair. As long as you're on time.
Yeah.
That's,
I found
What about
my
you?
barber just the last time I went to get a cut. All right, I think so. Anyway, he didn't talk at all. He did a good cut, and she was actually the one that was late. I showed up like 5 minutes early, but he was like 6 minutes late. He wasn't even there. But anyway, he did a good job, so it was fine. I let him slide.
like,
Yeah,
you think you're his first customer or like?
Well, I was like evening, bro. Like, I don't know. Maybe he didn't come in until.
oh, you mean he wasn't even in the shop?
He wasn't
when
even in the
6
shop.
minutes
He was
late?
out and about. So he might
okay.
he might have just got hung up on something. It's fine. I'll let it slide. You know?
that is kind of weird, yeah. I really don't like when my clients beat me to the shop in the morning. Like if it's my first cut of the day, I try to be there for sure 10 minutes early, but some people are already like sitting there. It's like, look at this. It just,
Yeah.
They're
it
eager.
doesn't sit well with me. So
They're eager to get
I
the
like
cut
to be
done.
there before.
But yeah.
So
But I know, like in the office, for me, I love my like little alone time for a bit to get like settled in. I don't know if it's the same way with your.
yeah, I do. Like just to get, I mean, yeah. So getting hot towels in the warmer, things like that. So I try to be there 15 minutes early, 10 minutes minimum, just to get ready for the day, and you're not in a rushed state of mind to start the day. So, I guess. What was the question again? How to be good.
How to be good customers.
I mean, this is maybe a controversial subject, but tipping. It doesn't hurt to tip your barber. Like, I'm not going to say an amount, but like, they do appreciate that, and they might just do some extra details for you than they would otherwise if they know that you really appreciate their work.
So can you level with me here? Is there a certain amount that you're like, this is they tipped a good amount? Because I've never talked to anyone that like on the other side of tipping that gets the tips. Is there an amount that you're like, oh, I'm happy with that, or like they kind of skimp me here?
Like, no, I would say I wouldn't say I feel like if there's 0 tip, then that's kind of like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Even if they feel like super appreciative, then there's like 0 tip, then it's kind of like, did you really appreciate it? Or like, were you being honest?
Yeah.
Or like,
Yeah, sure.
were you really happy actually? But no, so again, I understand both sides of the debate. So like, I understand that a tip is still a generous gesture that is not mandatory, and I try to give people the same service whether I know they are a tipper or not. But there's a certain warmness about tipping, I guess.
So I'm going to throw some numbers out there since Kyle.
Yeah, since Kyle's here. As you should.
I have no idea if I'm right or wrong or where. I'll toss them out.
Yeah.
I think like a $5 tip is kind of your bottom of the road. Like minimum, give the guy $5. And then like a good middle of the road solid tip, $10, and then everything over you're like going above and beyond. That's my opinion.
That pretty much hits it right on. Yeah.
Okay. Trust.
Yeah.
I always do percentages. So like, because that's often the first thing that comes
Paying
up.
on a machine,
So
not
like
by card, then yeah, it's
for a haircut, I think it's often I see like 15, 18, and I don't know, something higher than that.
20.
I don't know. Do you feel worse about 15 versus 18 or versus?
not really. I try not to pay attention because I understand it, and I'm not gonna like be like, wow, this person like that's just. Yeah,
And maybe
I don't look that closely.
Maybe the right outlook to have is like that. If they are giving you a tip, as long as like not insulting, like 1 cent or something like that. If they're
It's
giving
a
you a
bit of
tip.
a joke, yeah.
Yeah,
Then,
if they're giving you a tip and it's like a few bucks or whatever, it is on top. I guess it's them being nice.
And that's why I think you appreciate it, but like I really try not to judge people at all by like the amount they tip. Like I'm here to provide a service for them, and I'm going to do my best for that service no matter what, because they are paying the price of the haircut. But if like, I'll be honest, there's a couple heavy tippers that I know, and it's like, it's an extra little bonus, but it's not obligatory. So.
Yeah. All right.
You do everything you can to please those clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything possible.
Yeah, you gotta keep
Oh,
those
you're not
tips
showing up
flowing,
today.
baby.
Like, you didn't show up yesterday. That's okay. You can show up tomorrow.
How do you handle a challenging customer? And with that, if you have any challenging customer stories you want to throw in there, hey, be my guest.
Challenging as in just really hard to please?
I don't know.
Or
take that however you
a difficult
jolly
cut,
well feel.
or
Yeah, I was gonna think of more like you don't need to put anyone on blast though either. I don't know.
yeah, I'll start naming names.
Yeah.
No. Well, number one, it's the service industry, so you're there to provide a service for people, and you can't forget that. And in that industry, the customer's always right too. So they're paying for the cut. You try to do what they're asking for. You can oftentimes try to convince people or to guide people in a certain direction, like if you don't think something's a good idea for them. But ultimately, if they insist, then you just do it. So I just had somebody the other week that they wanted to line up at the front, and they were kind of going bald on both sides, like in the corners, and they wanted me to push their hairline back pretty far so it would kind of hide more of that baldness. But I really didn't want to. They had a buzz cut on top, like really short buzz cut, and then they wanted to line up. And that's kind of a pretty critical rule. Like, you don't try to push hairlines, because in 1 week, then you have 2 different lengths of hair growing. You have the length of the buzz cut, and then you have the length of the hairline that you push back that's growing in again, right in the middle.
Yeah.
And I was trying to explain that, and it's like, I really didn't want to do it for him. And trying to explain to him, like, big picture, it looks good today and tomorrow, but after that, it's gonna look a little strange.
Maybe homie's got an edger at home where you can just like constantly edge it up. I don't know.
Maybe, but it wasn't.
Yeah. It wasn't.
And so, anyways, he told me that it's his head, and I was like, you know what, you're right. So I did it for him, and I didn't feel good about it. But so that was maybe more of a challenging,
challenging
customer.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a advertising method that you found has worked out for you?
Word of mouth is the best. It takes the longest, but it's the most effective. I've tried like Instagram, sponsored ads and stuff. Had tiny bits of success, but it's hard to measure that.
Yeah.
Just many times it feels like you're just throwing money away. But word of mouth is the best. So that's another way you can help your barber being a good client is if you actually like him, then tell your friends, tell other people, recommend him, and that is the most effective way of helping your barber out.
Hey, Kyle. Or, sorry, Corey. Go check out Simon's Old Fashioned Barbershop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
there
a
you go.
shout out here.
Yeah. Good guy. Doesn't talk like awesome. Just good. Anyway.
Where's he located?
Kitchener. Right by the best burger place in Kitchener as well. Gladiator Burger.
Okay.
Yeah, right by there. So, like, if you're going right after work or something like that, want to grab a little smash burger afterwards? Oh. It's going to be a good evening,
right.
baby. Fresh trim and oh, my goodness. Anyway.
So if anyone's in Quebec looking for a
yes, that's true,
cut,
too.
where's the best spot there?
Nomad Barber Shop? Is that what it's called? Or Barbier Nomad?
Yeah.
Harvard
in French,
Barbier
Nomad.
Barbier Nomad. Yeah, go look. I mean, if you go on Google and you look at all the reviews there, they're all mentioning Kyle. So it's kind of crazy.
Not all, but
A lot of them are.
I really appreciate. Yeah, that's another thing too. The online reviews can
Leave a
help,
review
too,
with the
'cause
person's name in there.
many people come in for the first time and they can say, yeah, they're reading reviews on Google and saw the shop and they saw your name there. So that's helpful.
Do you have a review with Kyle's name in it, Corey?
I don't think I did, but
Well,
I should, yeah.
You gotta hop on that, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. What time do we got in the episode? How long have we been cooking here?
I'm going to say 45 minutes.
All right.
It says 50, but
Yeah,
I think we maybe
we had a
recorded
little
for
bit of a
5
chit-chat
before
we
that.
started
Yeah.
going. So last question from me here is, how do you occupy yourself if it's a really slow day?
Depends if the entire barber shop is slow or if it's just me. If it's just me and some of the other barbers are busy and there's a lot of traffic and action, then it's hard to maybe settle in and concentrate on doing something productive. I normally have a book sitting there, but yeah, see if I pick it up or not. You can do a lot of scrolling or researching, or it just depends what else I've got going on in life. Researching this or that.
If nobody's doing anything, do you like pull up the curling game on screen or something like that?
Not too often.
You guys always got a football game going, don't you?
Yeah, he's always got football
No,
going
it's
on.
honestly most often just music videos or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty neutral. So
No.
not a lot that goes on midday that people are super engaged with.
I've got 2 barbering questions. Is now the time for
Sure,
that,
yeah.
Tyler, or later?
Quickly throw those in there, brother.
Okay. So, does a barber cut his own hair, or does he get someone else to cut it? And if he gets someone else to cut it, who would he get to cut it? And then also, you talk about
How many
other
questions
people.
are you gonna give him at once?
What about you?
Yeah, so I can't speak for every barber shop, but I'm assuming most are similar. But for myself, I generally just get one of the other guys in the shop to cut my hair. We try to find a place where both of our schedules have an opening and, take turns. So we don't, and then what we do is not necessarily the same day or the same week, but we generally kind of exchange cuts.
Yep.
We don't keep hard track of how many we've done for each other. So it's just kind of like, swap cuts. And generally there's a couple barbers in the shop that, I generally ask just because it's better than having a whole bunch of different people getting to know your head. Consistency is key, right? So
that's basically. I'm not gonna try to ask. This isn't your barbershop at all whatsoever. But like I'd imagine at some barbershops there might be like one that like, oh, Jerry, yeah, we don't want him. Like, we're all trading cuts, but Jerry, yeah, we're gonna leave him off. He's not gonna. I don't want him to cut my hair. Hey, Bill, are you free here real quick? I don't know.
that
it could happen.
That would be the reality, I'm sure. So.
All right. What's your next? Go on, Corey.
One? Yeah. Or maybe this one will cut into you. I don't know.
No,
I'd never asked you about this, but like, do you have or want to share a story about how you got into barbering? And or how you would suggest someone to get into it?
I forgot to ask, 'cause that's a good one.
Yeah, for myself, had been kind of a really low-key interest of mine that I didn't really ever pursue. In cutting hair, I just thought it would be kind of fun, and didn't really understand why people are so stressed out about it, because how hard can it be? And, like, as far as, worried about messing people up, it's like, well, just take your time. Anyways, finally, the pandemic hit, and people were looking for barbers, and I got the chance to do some family and friends for that time, and just really thoroughly enjoyed it, and kind of started learning. YouTube was my best friend at the beginning, and eventually took like some workshop type courses at a barbering school in Toronto or Mississauga, and invested a little bit more and more into it, and then eventually had a little barber shop set up in my basement, and was just doing it on the side after work, evenings and weekends. And I got fairly busy, and it's only word of mouth that I wasn't going to be advertising, because I wasn't officially a professional barber or anything. But the best way to learn for somebody who's interested, try to find some friends and family who are willing to let you touch their hair and get your hands dirty doing it, because that's the only way you can learn, is just by starting.
Were me and Trent your first customers or not?
Yeah,
quite?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was one of the OGs.
Yeah.
Like literally the
Find a guy coming up, right?
Yeah, found the guy coming up, babe.
And I loved it so much, and discovered it was a hidden passion of my life. And when we moved to Quebec, then eventually took the plunge into full-time barbering. And that's what I'm doing now. So
building out the clientele.
I think in a previous episode that I watched, you guys had a discussion about, is it possible to find about work and passion and interest and stuff.
Okay.
And I was listening to that, and I was like, I don't care what you guys say, I know it's true. I found it for myself.
There you go.
And I hope that in 5 years from now I can say the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's not work for me. I just it's just so satisfying that I just love it. And
that's awesome.
Till at the beginning I just felt wrong taking people's money, because it's like, I'm not even working here. This is just fun.
That's the dream, baby. That's the dream.
Yeah, but obviously you still need the income. So.
Yep. All right. I've got 3 Instagram questions here from our lovely viewers. Thank you very much for sending them in. What hairstyle do you wish never became popular?
Ooh, hot take. No, I don't know. And I struggle to know if it's popular. Maybe this is more popular in like Europe or something. Not so much here, but I really dislike it. It's called the Edgar.
Okay.
And you might have to put a picture up.
I might have to.
But basically it's there's different variations of it a little bit. Basically it's an extremely tight fade on the sides, kind of like a skin fade, but it's really tight, meaning like it's barely any transition from skin to long hair. So from 10 feet away, it just looks like pretty much a separation between long and short hair.
For the Mennonite viewers out there, close to bowl cut.
Yeah, it literally looks like a kind of a bowl cut style, because across the front then, and this is the part that I just like about it the most too, is it's like, cut straight. There's no texture. It's just a real lineup of like slight of mid-length hair generally. Across the forehead, and then
goodness gracious,
it's,
I don't know if the sides like look, but the front
that's the idea.
I hate that. Like, I've seen that on a lot of
I think
British
it's a little more
reels,
European.
so,
but
it seems to be a big thing.
I've never actually cut one myself.
Okay.
But
the
I just like
Quebecois
that.
are not fans of it, maybe.
It's just less popular. You can put a picture up for the viewers.
What's it like cutting somebody's hair with bad dandruff? Have you ever experienced that?
Like every day probably. It's something that you get used to for sure. Many people have some amount of dandruff or dry skin that they deal with, especially once you start moving hair around, right, and combing it out. So you get used to it. It makes a big difference if it's clean hair. Like obviously, if I'm get started on somebody and I notice pretty quickly that it's greasy and gross, and I'll wash it and stuff. But if I don't notice right away, then like halfway through the cut, and then you go wash it. Sometimes I don't like to hurt people's feelings, so I just continue to work and do the job, and then clean up, wash my hands after, use a little more. So, I mean, sanitize the tools between every client, but just a little bit of extra alcohol. No, you get something you get used to. I feel like I don't get grossed out by it unless it's extremely greasy and bad. But then I try to wash it before we get started if that's the case. So
nice. All right, and last question of the day, unless Corey has any more to add on to it.
I am all out.
You're all out? All right, sounds good. Do you prefer if the person talks or not? This is not from me, I promise. But
it's nice to have some conversation. Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you can generally tell pretty quickly if somebody's in the mood to talk or not. And I will respect that, and I'm okay with the quiet haircut myself too. I don't find it awkward. Like if you kind of start trying to make conversation, but they're just not feeling it, then it's.
So I feel like my barber shop is so loud that like anytime I say something to my barber, just gotta like turn off the clippers, come around, like, what was that? And so then like if I'm not sure when to say something, especially like with my cut, like there's not a ton of like there's a bit of trimming with the scissors up top, but other than that something's buzzing, and even then like it's still quite noisy. And so then it's often like you stop, the haircut stops, and you chat a wee bit, and then you go back, and so like I kind of feel bad about making them stop halfway through their cut.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't say our barbershop is quite that loud, but it definitely can slow the cut down a bit. Certainly if you get into a good conversation, it takes more time, and it depends too. Like if I have a lot of stacked appointments and I need to stay on schedule, then I generally try to keep conversation a little bit more brief, a little less involved. Don't want to get into too many big controversial subjects too much if I'm pressed for time, because it's just the way it is. It slows it down. But no, I'm good with either way. The thing is, I'm working in French most of the time. I do have a handful of English clients who found me, and those are fun too. And so that is also limiting. It takes a little more patience for the client too, because my French isn't perfect, and sometimes things have to be repeated 2 or even 3 times, especially with some background noise and things, and then
a little bit of a struggle.
It takes a little more effort for sure.
That's about going to do it for today's episode. Corey, you got anything special to say yet?
No. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hope you all have a happy, successful, blessed year to come.
Sick, yeah. If you guys want to tell us what you got for Christmas, you can in the comment section below. Tell us everything you got for Christmas. Everything. Anyway, Kyle, you got anything to add off here?
Well, thanks for having me on, you guys.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
I didn't know if it happened or not.
So. Thanks for making the trip. You went specifically from Quebec just for this, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Anyway, actually, no, Corey, you close it off this time. I close it off every other time. So
need lots of excitement here.
Yeah.
Ho, ho. If you had a happy Merry Christmas, hit that subscribe button. Smash that bell button.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there anything else to do?
Get the notifications for our last episode.
Send it to every one of your family members that you spent time with this Christmas.
Every single one of them.
I think that's it.
And if you're in Quebec City, stop by.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is. Stop by Barbering Nomad. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
In Quebec City.
In Quebec City. Yeah.
If you're ever out.
The guy 100%. Will speak French or he'll speak English, whatever you want.
He could probably even try doing Spanish for you if you really asked him nicely. Don't think it would go well.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. Anyway, I'm not singing. Are we good, Corey?
I'm good if you're good.
All right. Bye-bye for now.